you how to use what you're using.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. And it is April 30th, 2014. I'm Ron Motter. I'm speaking with my good friend and Colibri winner, Marlena Ehrenberg. Marlena, buenos dias and guten Tag.
Buenos días, y I don't know how to say it in the Raramuri language, although they told me, but Guten Morgen, buenos días, bonjour, buongiorno, boker tov. I don't remember anymore what other
Kaosu
languages.
Katawinu in Mixteco.
Ah, no, bueno, pues ya estamos muy bien. ¿Qué pasó, Ron? Qué gusto verte.
Hey, igualmente, igualmente. Hey, we've been planning some of our Mexico Monday hangouts, but you've been traveling on these Mondays, so good for
Yes,
you.
usually Monday in the morning, I'm mainly in Cuernavaca.
Okay.
Because it's at what time?
It depends. It's at 10:30 your time.
Yes, well, right. I'm usually coming back from Cuernavaca.
All right, all right. Well, today we're going to have a brief chat with Marlene about a couple of upcoming events there in Mexico, as well as some of the places that she's been visiting, including the Sierra Tarahumara in the beautiful state of Chihuahua, Mexico. But let's start with today. Today is April 30th, Dia del Niño. What is Dia del Niño?
Del Día del Niño is, well, is to celebrate the children, I guess, younger than 12 years old. And they make a big fiesta like a springtime. They go disguised, and it's to reivindicate their values and their also their rights, because nowadays with all these new computer things, the children have more connection and have more to say, which is really very interesting. So, and then they sing songs. I want to mention them. They come back and again the songs of Cricri, Gabilondo Soler, which are traditional in Mexico and which I recommend to every country in the world. Even Disney copied the Three Little Pigs and many other stories of this composer.
Who is
And
Cri Cri?
Cricri is a composer, Gabilondo Soler. ¿Cuál era? Francisco. And he made Cricri is a little cricket that sings the songs, El Grillito Cantor, and I remember my childhood uh, only with the songs of him.
Tales with music, actually.
Tales with music, and he puts music of all types of music, from mambo, samba, rumba, vals, polka. So children learn even through the songs of very maybe naive stories, but they learn a bit of everything. But children have a special day today.
And Cri Cri, he has a statue. Is that in Orizaba?
No, it's in Chapultepec, actually. Here in Mexico, it's in
Well, what happens? There's a cricket in Chapultepec because it's the hill of the grasshoppers. But Cricri himself, I think he was born in Orizaba. I think you're right. He's from Veracruz, and there must be something in his honor.
I remember visiting that city, that lovely city park, and seeing the statue with the volcano in the background. You don't see that
With
just
the Pico
anywhere.
de Orizaba, right?
Uh,
And the tropical coffee plantations, and they make the beer there. It's very good beer, in the water of Orizaba is very good. So it's a wonderful place.
all right, so today is Dia del Niño. Would that be translated as Children's Day or Kids Day?
Yes, no, children. Children is a better word. Children's Day.
Okay, very good. All right, now we're coming up to May, and can you tell us a little bit about May 3rd, Dia de Abanil?
Me- Dia del Albañil, which is a word that comes from the Arabic, the
Al.
Moorish language. All the albañil, alberca, aljibe. The albañiles are masons, the ones that build the houses, but everyone involved in building a house, architects and everything. In Mexico, we try to celebrate every day, and every day is happy, even the Day of the Dead. So they put a cross, se llama el Día de la Santa Cruz, and usually that cross is also put on the top of the building while they're still building, or even when they finish building. In Chiapas, they put a cross made out of metal. Luckily, I don't have one right here, no. But it's a very important day because they give the albañiles barbacoa, barbecue, carnitas, pulque, and whatever you can imagine. So today they actually, on the 3rd of May, they don't work because everything would be crooked if they work that day because they're mostly drunk.
It is a big party day.
Yes, yes, it's a big fiesta. I love it. I'm a madrina of the cross. This cross you take to be bendecido, blessed in the church. And then you decorate it with flowers and with papel china and ribbons and a lot of things. It's super tradition. And it probably is even a tradition pre-Hispanic because usually they're combined. The cross is also a symbol of the corn because it's the starting of to put the, how to say, the earth to prepare it to plant the corn. So it has a connection most likely.
I hear you. And then you have your biggest day, Cinco de Mayo, which I assume is a big day in Mexico.
Well, the Cinco de Mayo, la batalla de Puebla is called the Battle of Puebla, which was won by Ignacio Zaragoza in 1862, I think it was.
Yes, in the middle of the 19th century.
In the middle of the 19th century against the French in Puebla. And definitely we celebrated, and as much as I can remember, they also used to celebrate it in the United States in the White House. At one point, I don't know if Obama is part of that celebration, but I know they used to do it. I don't know why, don't ask me. That
It
you
is a
should know.
big celebration here in the United States.
And what do you celebrate? Our battle?
We drink beer and the limes are on sale. The limes are on sale. They're 79 cents each instead of 99 cents each.
For the tequila.
For our tequila.
It's one of these festivals that's been adopted, if not bastardized, in the United States as a drinking festival, to the chagrin of many Mexican Americans, of course.
Well, nobody will be agreeing always.
Oh, of course not. But that'll be Monday, May 5th, and a big celebration, and thanks for giving its historical context.
And it is an obligatory feast day here, as well as the 1st of May, so we have a long puente, a bridge from the 1st. Nobody will work on Friday, naturally the 2nd. The 3rd is Fiesta de los Albañiles. The 5th, the 4th is Sunday, and the 5th is nobody goes to work, I think.
Monday.
It's half obligatory, I think it's not totally.
I hear you. And the other big events on the calendar is World Tourism Day, and that's on September 27th. And
yes.
Have you heard that Mexico will be the host country for this year's World Tourism Day?
Well, you're the first one to tell me, because in Mexico we don't hear those things. But we shall put it in the web pages, and we will start moving something. I think it's also the birthday of my cousin, Olivia Newton-John. Well, and she's a big protector of nature, so we will invite her to come to Mexico. Would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
That would be a fantastic idea, of course.
Bueno.
All right. Anything else on the calendar? Other events that are coming up?
At this moment, well, tomorrow I go with my grandchildren to Xochimilco. It's a big event because I don't get to see them all day so often. And tomorrow we go on a trajinera, on a boat. I'll take a picnic, and we'll go and pass from one level to the other to see the ajolotes, these salamandras, which are amphibian. And we'll spend the day there. So it has a table, and we can put food, and we can hire mariachis or marimba or salterio or even norteños and eat on the boat. It's a lovely place,
And
full of birds.
that's called Xochimilco?
Xochimilco, yes, the place of the flowers, or, well, they call it the floating gardens of Mexico.
I always heard Venice called the Xochimilco of Europe.
Ah, yes, that's right. I think ours was first,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, I want to talk just briefly a little bit about some of the places. Last month in, well, March, I was in your neck of the woods attending the World Parks Congress planning meeting in Cuernavaca.
Don't tell me, and you didn't tell me.
It's on the web and Twitter that you don't read. Um,
But you're the person that
so
I do want
that
to see.
was lovely. Cuernavaca, what a beautiful, beautiful town, the land of eternal spring. And
And where did they celebrate it? In what place?
the little town outside of it that begins with an X.
The town with the hats? Tepoztlan?
No, I said the town that begins with the letter X.
Ah, Xochicalco.
No.
Well then,
X.
eh?
There's a big, I don't know what's in front of your camera.
High school.
There's one of those hotels that was built out of a reconstituted hacienda.
La
Shinipec,
hacienda de Cortés.
Chotepec.
Ah, no.
Cocoyoc.
Cocoyoc? No. Nothing.
Huastepec.
Huaxtepec?
No, begins with the letter X.
Oh my God.
So
Well, tell me.
anyway, so there was the World Parks Congress planning meeting in lovely Cuernavaca. They had great help from the state of Morelos. Um, just what a beautiful state. And then we went off to the caverns of Cacamalwilpa in the state of Guerrero.
Do you mean Tasco? No, that's Guerrero. X, Xochicalco, Chalcatzingo. Where the hell?
Xochitepec.
Xochitepec.
I have no
Ah,
idea.
but it's already part of Cuernavaca, yes.
That's what yeah.
And it
So
was an hacienda, or what was
it
it?
was a hacienda, yes.
Ah, okay. Well, what date was it?
At the end of March, like the 27th to the 30th.
Ah, and what was it about? Didn't hear
Well,
you.
Australia will host the World Parks Congress planning World Parks Congress November 12th to the 20th.
And this was discussed in that place in
That it
Cuernavaca?
was.
Oh, I would have loved to look at. No, I don't see the web so much as you would like to.
Okay.
It's a matter of a habit, and when you don't have somebody to help you, when you get older, it's a bit more complex.
So tell me, what are three things we should know about Cuernavaca that are not necessarily the most obvious ones for the traveler or the tourist or the visitor?
Well, first of all, I would say it was a place of the Tlahuica natives. And when Cortés came in the beginning of the 16th century, he destroyed the temples and built his palace, the Palace of Cortés, which is now a museum and has paintings of Diego Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
A man from the United States, the consul, I forget his name. What was his name? He was able to invite Diego Rivera to make those paintings about Zapata and of Morelos, the hero of the independence. And that's a very interesting museum. And then definitely the cathedral, which is of the 16th century. It's like a fortress. And just in back of the cathedral, which has a very unusual insight, Matthias Goeritz and other artists took away all the decoration and left it very austere, which is very beautiful. And in back of the building of the cathedral, by the way, it's one of the first places where they play on Sundays mariachi mass in the cathedral. It was one part of the movement of Teoría de la Liberación, Theory of the Liberation.
Liberation
Yes,
theology?
yes, when the priest wanted something different and something new, and nothing happened anyhow. And in back of the cathedral, there's the Brady Museum, a private house in part of the building of the ancient Archbishop houses, and it's another museum. And now there's a new, and today even, they're inaugurating another exhibition in the new Folk Art Museum right near the Zócalo or Plaza Principal. And there's an ecological called garden or park called Chapultepec again, and there's also the ruins of Teopanzolco right in the middle of the Cuernavaca. So, well, there's loads of things, and very famous personalities lived there. Ivan Illich, well, Arceo Méndez was, or Méndez Arceo was the bishop that was opened this theory of the liberation. And Ivan Illich was another current also of that. Then there was, under the volcano, the writer Malcolm Lowry, is it that? Do you remember?
I remember that, Malcolm
Under
Lowry.
the volcano. And another one that wrote a book was the man that wrote something about the plumed serpent, Quetzalcoatl.
D.H. Lawrence?
What was his name?
D.H. Lawrence?
D.H. Lawrence, yes. And then many actresses and actors, even the Shah of Iran, have looked for Cuernavaca until very recently. The Queen of Italy lived there. But I also want to tell you that I was so sorry. In the Sierra Tarahumara, the Copper Canyon, recently. And I'm just...
One second. Let's stay on Cuernavaca.
Let's stay on Cuernavaca.
Anyway, here's the photo from our Rural Parks Congress planning meeting.
Oh, how good that you did invite me.
And, hey, you really do have to take a look at that Planeta.com homepage. It was up there for a month beforehand. And it's Xochitepec.
Xochitepec, which means the mountain of the flowers.
And if you take a look there on the screen here, this is the Flickr page of the photo. Because when you're uploading photos to Flickr, you get to choose yes or no. I'm choosing yes, but it's including the photo geolocation.
Oh, wonderful! Yes, I think you taught me that one, so I'll try to put it in.
Well, the nice thing is that it's done automatically.
Okay. Then it's no secret.
It's no secret. Now you have a new iPad, is that right?
Yes, brand new.
Are you taking any photos with your iPad?
Pardon me?
Are you taking any photos with your iPad?
I took two.
With this iPad, not yet.
Tú estás en mi cámara y yo. We took two photos, not yet. We're working on that.
Okay. Well, your photos are just tremendous, and we have a link there on the Google Plus event page as well. So thank you very much for sharing. All right. Before we move on to Chihuahua, outside of Morelos, just on the outskirts, is the state of Guerrero. We went to the Grutas de Cacahuamilpa.
Cacahuamilpa, yes.
And what I found fascinating there is that it's the only national park in Mexico that's actually run by the community.
Is it the only one in the world? Isn't Totolapan here the Ejido
but that's
outside
not
of
considered
Mexico?
a national park.
As a national park. Tolantongo, I think, is another national park, isn't it? And let me think. No, well, maybe you're right. Yes.
But that
we
is
agree again.
There we go. Just beautiful, just beautiful. All right, let's go on. Let's move on to Chihuahua. And before you say anything, can you show us some of your treasures?
Well, I first of all would like to show a little bit of folk art they do, which is a little the bark of the tree of the pine trees. They carve, and this is a little rabbit, a little carved rabbit. I think you can see it. Can you?
I can see
Yes.
it.
And then the raramuri have big drums, but as it's Dia del Niño, I brought a little one, which is this one. And these drums are huge. They're almost like, I would say,
3 feet.
almost a meter. Yes, around in diameter. And it's part of their fiestas. And then at the end of the trip in Chihuahua, because this is the state, I went to a place where they make beautiful ceramics. And this is a little vase, which is a copy of ancient with new, how to say, designs, but it's a copy of the ones that were in the caves in Mata Ortiz. And when they had the bad luck or good luck, bad luck because the railway station was closed, instead they put a highway, so nobody stopped at Mata Ortiz anymore. And one of the men of Mata Ortiz, as a hobby, had already made a little bit of inquiry in ceramics of the caves, the ancient caves of Casas Grandes and Paquimé. Those are the two beautiful archaeological areas. So he copied them, and with a little help of people from the United States that loved what he was doing, they helped him to develop in a better way. And they're so thin like eggshells. So the group I took, we could at the end make even a workshop of ceramics, which was very interesting.
The tell me more about this workshop. You were making your own ceramics?
Well, myself, I do it as a hobby, but in Mata Ortiz, the whole group I took, mainly from Modesto, California, they were very happy doing pottery just for fun. Many of them also have other hobbies. But that was like part of our tour, of the 10-day tour to the spring rites and Easter week of the Raramuri in the Sierra Tarahumara in Norogachi.
Now, explain to me a little bit. You're using two words, as we all do. This indigenous group, it's Raramuri and Tarahumara.
Well, what happens is that the original word is Raramuri, and that means those with the light foot, those who run light, because they are very good runners. They have a physical condition. I think somebody in the USA wrote an interesting book about them. I forget the name, but they've gone into marathons barefooted or with their sandals and have an incredible condition. And the name Tarahumara is a deviation of Raramuri, although they sound quite differently, but at the end they mean the same. But the natives like to be called Raramuris. But mainly everybody knows them as Tarahumara, the Sierra Tarahumara, and the books are written Tarahumara, and then they add and explain what Raramuri is.
Okay. And you were there and that again is in the state of Chihuahua, and that's the Copper Canyon.
The Copper Canyon is one of the 7 canyons that are in the area. There's the Sinforosa, there's, oh my God, I don't remember. What is the other?
But
I
beyond
forgot.
naming them, what's the attraction?
Well, their depth, it's very deep and very big. Just to compare, I think they're 4 times bigger than the Grand Canyon, which is amazing. the color copper, because they call them Copper Canyon, doesn't come from the color like the Grand Canyon, which is very red because it has a lot of iron. Ours have more copper, and when copper oxidizes, it is green. So ours are greenish, but one is as deep as almost 2 kilometers deep. The one called Urique, Cañón de Urique. And well, it was amazing. Now they also added in the highest point, Divisadero, a zip line. And Funiculare, which is quite recent, 1 or 2 years ago, they inaugurated, and it's one of the longest in the world, so I hear, made by Austrians and Swiss. So it's very secure. It's a lot of fun. We did it with the group partly in the late afternoon and partly at 9 with full moon, which is not very usual, but we were so many that it took a long time.
Did you do that?
But of course, every time I go, I do it, and I have a lot of fun. It's wonderful.
Tell me a little bit about the state of tourism in Chihuahua. It had the number of visitors had gone down precipitously before. Is it recovering?
I would say not so much because to start with, we never encountered crowds. We had no problems with airplanes. We flew to Los Mochis and then in El Fuerte took the train so that we wouldn't get up so early. And the train, there they had to add a few cars or wagons, or how do you call them?
Wagons, uh-huh.
By the way, I know that Emilio Kifuri, somebody told me, is in El Fuerte, living in El Fuerte, disconnected of the world. And that we will talk another day. And then the hotels, not crowded. And the train, as I tell you, well, they could add wagons as much as people as come, but I didn't feel it was like in other places where in the beach resorts, where you can't even stand in the water, there's so many people. I didn't feel that tourism is catching on, unluckily. But for us, what can I tell you? It's even better in many ways for my type of tourism, which is small and beautiful. And actually, what I search is to be different and away from the maddening crowds. We stayed in the Rancho San Isidro, and we were the only people we took a temazcal, which was really nice.
Now, hold on. What's a temazcal for people?
A temazcal is like a sauna, a hot bath.
Of steam.
Of steam, because it's like an igloo, and they put stones. By the way, San Isidro, Rancho San Isidro, is as beautiful as it is, thanks to Emilio Kifuri. You may remember that. And the people of San Isidro they're all brothers and wives, and it was a lot of fun. Excellent food, wonderful rooms, hospitality #1, definitely. And then we made a long, long walk from the hill where the San Isidro ranch is down to Cerocawi, where you find a mission and there's wine. They plant wine. Not the best, but they have wine. And then, well, the train station, and we saw a trogon, a bird, like one of the quetzales. Well, we saw many birds, but that's very spectacular. And definitely the railway is something quite unusual. I love it. And then we went on to the thermal waters of Recohuata. Can you hear me? Se paró.
No.
Se paró, se plasmó.
You're still there.
Are you there?
No.
Ya no.
Something happened.
¿Ya qué pasó? ¿Ya estuvo? Hold on there, Tiger.
Home Dale Tiger.
Hold on there, Tiger. ¿Lo cerramos? ¿O hay que nombrarlos? ¿O qué hay que hacer?
No, estamos esperando. Aquí sí tenemos línea. We'll wait.
¿Qué? ¿Retomar aquí?
No.
Estaba yo en Recoguate que veo que ya no se movía. Porque está todo.
You there.
Ahí viene.
Dice que mandó lo.
And we are recording. Let's see if this works. This is the Google Hangout on air. I'm hoping. Chatting with Marlene Ehrenberg. Marlene, are you there? Having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Try to invite her one more time. We have, our connection was lost temporarily. Let's see if we can get it back. If not, well, you don't need to see me. Friendly reminder, Planet Hangouts are sponsored in part by Chocolucci, the chocolate worth fighting for, available in Oaxaca de Juarez, Mexico. Chocolate. And we're back.
Yes,
we're back.
we had you were suddenly frozen.
You were frozen.
So we all both were frozen.
We were all frozen. It's like being in Antarctica.
Okay. Well, when we were talking about the thermal waters of Recoguata, no?
That we were.
Yes,
We're
that's
talking about
where we stayed.
Temazcal.
And the Temazcal, well, we explained. And it's something people use for curing health sicknesses, and for women that have had babies, they take a Temazcal in their villages. So it's an interesting, and the whole group took it. They loved it.
Let me ask you this. How many people were in your group?
With me, we were 18, but we had from all over the world. A few from Modesto, California, Oakdale, where my friend Desiree lives. Some from Mexico. From Oakdale, they brought a lady that lives there since married with the person from the United States, from Filipinas, a lady from India, and from our side, a person from Guatemala, from Cuba, and from France. Imagine. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, what's your next trip? Where are you heading?
Well, my next trip is actually, I'm planning for the Day of the Dead, but it's in November. At the moment, I have nothing special, maybe Mezcaltitlan, smaller tours, or Chalcatzingo, or some ones that are Saturdays only, or bird watching, which is always possible in the area of Xochimilco.
Oh, lovely. Well, as we wind down this hangout, are there any other tidbits or news tidbits you'd like to share?
Yes, I would like to share, and it's a very important matter, that I'm trying to uh, uh, make people conscious
Conscious.
that we have to control the visit or visitors that go to the cemeteries. They don't have any type of capacidad de carga. How do you say that in English?
Carrying capacity.
Carrying capacity, eso lo tenemos que apuntar.
Okay.
Y la otra es carrying capacity and impacto ambiental. They invade the cemeteries, step on the graves, taking photos, and don't respect the people that are there. The last time I was in Oaxaca, it was horrible. It's become like we call it like a marketplace, like a bazaar, like I don't know what. And I think one can control it very easy. And I have a special program, for instance, for Michoacán, for Pátzcuaro, the famous island of Janitzio.
Hmm.
You have to get there on a boat. Have you been there?
I have not.
In the island of Janitzio in Pátzcuaro, not yet?
No.
No, well, it's an island and it's a very famous for the Day of the Dead. And it's very easy to control because boats get there. One boat can fit 50 people. And I would say one should control. When one boat goes, the other one has to come back. And every hour, one. And if what they want is a lot of people, but I would say higher the price and have less people. What is our idea of a responsible tourism? And I want to make a few programs in television, in radio, and I'm trying to introduce that idea because everybody can see it if there's a camera filming the cemetery of Janitzio, and they can put a monitor or pantalla, how do you, screen, in the plaza of Tatabasco with what is happening actually with the people that are actually the ones that worship their dead. People can sit on a very nice plaza and not step on the tombs with flashlights, and it's horrible. It's become terrible. Mixquic, Oaxaca, it's terrible. So
Is there a Day of the Dead page on the Rebozo wiki?
I guess yes. Let me check it, and if not, I will enrich it, and I will put this concern I have, and we can, with your webs, you can spread it, and we can see if we can make something out of it. But Ron, you have to understand, and I hope it's not sounds terrible, but when you're in Cuernavaca, even though I don't open all your pages, it would be interesting to at least be in contact personally. And I am, in a way, a bit sad that I didn't see you. Or actually, not a bit, very sad.
We will find ways of making connection in the near future. Okay, Marlene?
Personals, not always with apparatus.
There we go. Anything else you'd like to add about travel in Mexico?
Well, I think the trip I made can prove that it was totally secure. 10 days in a state, Chihuahua, which is tagged as something insecure with the deaths of Juarez and all those things. But the places where I take my people, it's a very secure place. Everywhere, whatever I do, it's secure. I wouldn't dare, even the city of Mexico, on Sundays, when they close the big, Avenue Reforma for bicycles and people to walk on. It's such a pleasant walk, and to visit the old buildings and old streets and up. It's people still wonder. They write to me, Marlene, is the city of Mexico secure? Can we walk there? My group arrived at 9 in the evening from the United States, and we walked from Luis Moya, where the Alameda Park is, to the Café Tacuba at 9:30. Absolutely peaceful, tranquil, with light, everything beautiful, as if you were walking. Maybe one of the places that could be secure is someplace in Switzerland or I don't know what, but total, total security.
Well, you know what I've always said is that we need to see more photos, and we need to encourage, your clients and the visitors to Mexico to post their their experiences online. And whether that's on your Facebook page or on Twitter or elsewhere, the more that we see of Mexico being a safe, secure, and frankly quite a delicious destination, then I think you'll have more visitors and more visitors who are informed and conscious about what they can do and see and again eat and drink there. Tom and I, we went to downtown Mexico City. We went to the to I'm going to forget the name of it. We went to one of the popular art museums. It wasn't the popular art museum, and it was just a lovely experience downtown in Mexico City. But
that's what I say.
Again, we can say it, but we can also show it. And
well,
again,
I know that a lot of my clients put their comments in Facebook independently. So
right.
Maybe they don't name me, which is not important, but they name Mexico and they say what a beautiful trip we did and how interesting it was and how secure and the people so pleasant and the food so good. So the Flickr photos are charged. Let me try and make a little album and check on the Day of the Dead, because I'm very stubborn and I think one could do something for the overpopulated and over-impactada cemeteries of our country. And we're on time. We're on time.
Perfect. Marlene, don't hang up. We'll converse a little bit more, but we'll end our broadcast here, our webcast, our Google Hangout. And thank you so much for your time.
Well, it was my pleasure, and thanks for contacting, and thanks to Enrique that helped me do it, because I'm not totally able to do all these things. But hey, I like to do it.
Enrique, get into the photo. Who are you?
I'm working here with Marlene. Hey, how are you? That's okay.
Thank you both. All right, we'll continue our conversation, and thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Что за in Zapoteco?
Gracias.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Ron.